going on, people? I want to tell you about a few things that are different between riding a motorcycle in America versus riding a motorcycle or a motorbike in England. I want to tell you about 10 differences when it comes to motorcycles and motorcycle riding between the USA and England. Now I've got a bit of a list here and I'm going to go through it. Number 1, the ease of getting a license. In the US, you can walk into a DMV, do a 2-part test, and then literally walk out with a motorcycle license. In England, it's a bit more complicated than that. There's a CBT you have to take, which is like the compulsory basic training. Then you take a theory, a written test just to ride a 125. Then you take another theory and a written test, which is more advanced to ride anything higher than a 125. And maybe even a third theory and written test to be completely unrestricted. In the US, there is another way to go about it. You could actually do a safety foundation course. It's a weekend long course, costs between, depending on whether you use your own motorcycle or whether you use one of theirs, it can cost between $25 and $100. But it's a weekend of training and testing, and you basically come out of it with a license. Number 2, ages and restrictions. Now in the US, once you've passed your little test, you are unrestricted. You can go off and ride any bike you want. Literally, you could be 16 years old, pass your test, go down to a dealership, and if you can ride off on a Boss Hog, or you can ride off on a ZX14R or a Hayabusa. It doesn't matter. That license is unrestricted from the minute you've got it. In the UK, 16 years old, you can ride up to a 50cc motorbike, and that is it, a moped basically. 50cc max. That's even with the testing. At 17, the highest you can ride is a 125. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 125 cc's of raw groms. Now, if you pass your test to ride a 125, then at 17, 125, and at 19, nothing higher than a 500cc. And then at 21, you're unrestricted. Pretty insane, right? But I suppose it saves a few kids' lives. Alright, number 3, L plates. In the UK, if you're learning to ride, you can have L plates, which basically means learner. You can't ride on a motorway or highway, as they call it, or interstate highway. There's no such real thing in America as L plates. So you can get your bike, go for a ride, say I'm a learner rider, and no one need know. Okay, helmet laws. That's number 4 on my list. There is nowhere in England or basically in Europe where you can't ride without a helmet. In the US, there are some states where you can go 100% squid. Now, mostly, it's there's a lot of sensible people out there, so even when you don't have to wear a helmet, they do. You know, sports bike riders and the like. It's mostly like Harley riders who like to squid it. Number 5, motorcycle size displacement. Now in the US, it's a big country, so if people are riding, they need something with not even so much lots and lots of power, just enough to like get them you know, across state lines. You know, a typical trip can be like a 3-hour, 4-hour ride. You want to do it in comfort. So most people in the US like big bikes with big engines, easy cruisers, whereas in the UK they need zippy, fast, quick bikes. So typically when you see a motorcycle in England, you'll see like a smaller bike. They can be just as fast and just as effective, but just the design is more for negotiating like city traffic and the like. You won't see many Harleys or big Tourers. That pretty much leads into number 6. Luxury versus necessity. In the UK, if you own a motorcycle, then the chances are that is the only mode of transport you've got. You're going to have to live with it. If you've got a destination to go to, you've only got one vehicle, and that's the motorcycle. Whereas in the US, motorcycles are normally luxury, optional extras. You won't find many people in the US who don't own a car, who own a motorcycle but not a car. Now there could well be students and like really poor people who just need something, but also like weather and can get pretty extreme from hot to cold in certain parts of the country. So it's not unheard of for like these weekend warriors to have like a fleet of cars and a couple of motorcycles, and they just pick and choose which one they want to take out. For many years in England, that motorcycle that I own, that little Suzuki GS250, was my only form of transport. And that was it. That bike took me up and down England, all around London. It was all I had. If I lost that bike, all I had to do was get a bus pass, but that was it. Number 7 on the list. The attitude about pillion or passengers. In England, it's not a big deal to have your friend or anyone, male or female, on the back of your bike. It's like you're going somewhere, you've got a spare helmet, he wants to go to the same place, quick, put the helmet on, jump on, I'll take you down there. It's never an issue. In this country, oh my god, nut to butt they call it. It's just quite funny. Nut to butt. The whole idea of some guy on the back of a bike with you seems to conjure all sorts of gay images among anyone really here. I don't know, maybe they've got this thing about some guy sniffing your cologne, wrapping his arms and legs around you and feeling you and touching you and maybe kissing the back of your neck. Oh, for fuck's sakes, give me a break. It's not an issue. And I've had arguments like this with Americans, but they absolutely, and even when you give them the option, okay, would you ride on the back of a motorbike with a woman? Oh no, oh god, no, not a chance, never. They'll try to kill me, they don't know how to do it, I'll be freaking out. In America, they got some really weird idea about it, about how gay it is and how much of a girly man you must be if you get on the back of a bike with a woman rider. Oh no. Actually, now that I think about it, it sounded like a pretty good idea to give people an attitude like that. It means that, like, if he wants to ride a motorcycle, then he has to get his own, because there's no way he's going to get on the back of another guy's. Alright, number 8, and that is foot positions, or the pegs. Now, I do know a bit of history about why this is the case. In America, they like to sit with their feet forward. I mean, for most of the time, like the cruiser riders, tourers and all that, they like their feet forward. Now there's a reason for it. I mean, it's, apart from it being comfortable if you're going for a long ride, but in the UK it's feet back, pegs level with you. The ability to stand on your pegs if you're going over rough roads, or just more control over your bike. I've got a mid-peg bike. Street bobs are typically mid-pegs, and a lot of people are quite happy with that. But the history goes like this. It dates back to the horse riding days. Now, ranchers in America who rode their horses, they steered their horses with the reins. They pull their reins and they're controlled that way. But in Europe, controlling your horse was a mixture of reins and where you put your feet. You squeeze on one side or tap on the other to direct the horse. So typically they needed the foot position to be closer towards the back. And they trotted as well, whereas Americans didn't do that. So their feet were in the stirrups in the rear. Whereas in America, they had no other use but just to have their feet forward. They thought it was comfortable, and so that's how they left it. And they were fine with that. Number 9. Bad weather riding. Now this goes back to like one of my other points that I made, where in England, if you've got a motorcycle, then the chances are that's the only thing you've got. And we do get some shitty weather in England. Miserable, cold, downpouring weather. You'll see people waiting at traffic lights with their hands on the engines, warming their hands up. In the US, no way. If it's too hot, I'm not riding. If it's too cold, not riding. But then again, that's most of the times because they've got the option. Number 10. The biker wave. Now in the US, you drive on the right side of the road. So you've got a free hand to basically wave to anyone, specifically other riders passing on the other side. Now in the UK, you drive on the left side of the road. Now you can't go taking a hand off the throttle just to say hello to someone. So what we do instead is we flash our headlights at them. Right, YouTube, people, friends, everybody, if you like what you see, then do me a favour, hit that subscribe button down there, just below me. If you want to check out some more videos, then just look over there to your right, over there. There's a couple of videos there you might want to check out. I'll see you all later.